So guys, I think we can start. Hello to everybody.
Okay, I think right now we can start. All Jinko clients, my colleagues, thank you so much to join this webinar. My name is Jerry, sales manager for the Israel and Palestinian Authority market, Indonesia and Hong Kong. On behalf of Jinko, I would like to thank you specifically for sparing your time attending this online meeting. Sitting with me in this meeting room from Jinko is firstly Chris. Chris is our product manager responsible for energy storage system product. Jimmy is from Jinko brand team. Zach Dotan, business development manager in Israel, and Warren, head of business development in Jinko APAC sales team. Many of Jinko people have been prepared for this webinar for a long time. We believe that the information, knowledges, and comments we are gonna bring through this meeting will help answer some of your questions, solve some of your issues that you encountered in your work obligations, and make you succeed in your work area. Now, it's my privilege to start this webinar from PV module sessions. Firstly, let me share the documents I'm gonna show you. So I believe everybody can see the screens I'm sharing with you, right? Okay. Since it's been almost 2 years since COVID exists in this world, I would like to first give you some most update about the Jinko. We are going to start with, 1 second. We are going to start with some pictures that you may be familiar with, which is this one. This post was first reviewed by the third-party medias at the end of 2020. It remarks what performance Jinko has done in each of the big market in the world, top 10 market actually. But that picture did not end Israel in that, because Israel market in 2020. According to our calculation, Israel market is less than 1 gigawatt capacity. So a third-party media did not calculate the market shares of Jinko in Israel market. Now, according to our record, we end Israel specifically right here as the 11th largest market in the world. The big circle represents the market capacities for that country. Like in China, 40 to 50 gigawatt in 2020. So in Israel, according to our estimation, Israel 2020 market capacity was about 800 to 900 megawatt. So the number one means that our Jinko market share in that country, specific country, has the biggest market share. In China, 8%, USA 24%, etc. So in Israel, we achieved a phenomenal. It's a phenomenal achievements for our team. We shipped totally 300 megawatt solar modules to this market, including 47 megawatt to the utility project and 107 megawatt to the floating project, and commercial residential 170 megawatt. Total market share for Jinko is 40%. So more than any other top 10 market in the world. In 2021, this year, we already secured 400 megawatt orders from Israel clients. If based on the 800 to 900 megawatt this year, our market share will jump up a step to 45%, between 45% to 50% market share. Some update about the Jinko's as a whole in 2020 financial report highlights. In terms of the shipment, 2020 year, we shipped around 19 gigawatt, 2.8 times more than 2016, which equals to 29% compound annual growth each year from 2016 to last year, 2020. Revenues for up to end of 2020, revenues 4.6 times more than what we earned in 2013. And the compound annual growth is around 24% each year. Gross profit 4 times compared between 2013 to 2020, 4 times more than the 2013, 22% each year, compound annual growth each year for the gross profit. So we can see that from 2013 to last year, Jinko is very healthy in terms of the business development and also financial performance. Up to last year, our presence was in almost every continent in this world, and we have our factories are scattered in 4 countries. In China, we have the biggest capacity in China: cells, modules, ingot, wafers, integrated manufacturer, supply chain. In the USA, we also built a 400 megawatt capacity factory since 2019, and since from beginning of 2020, this market started to produce products for the US market. Malaysia market, it was built in 2012, and up to now, Malaysia factory has become a factory of 6.4 gigawatt cells and modules production facility. These are our domestic factories, and this yellow highlighted are the new factories either built in 2020 or will start to run from the beginning of this year, like this 9.2 gigawatt module manufacturers in Yiwu, Zhejiang province. Same for the overseas factories, USA factories, and also the factories that we're prepared to build in Vietnam is still in a preparation. We estimated that this factory could run the full capacity by the middle of next year, middle of 2022. And the Malaysia factory, US factory, and Vietnam factory, all the capacity from these 3 factories will dedicate their capacity to US market. US market has the highest prices over any other market for solar modules imports. So we dedicated so much to solar modules, not just because then this is going to be the main source of future energy, but also then we were motivated by what we have done in the past. Since the first pieces of JinkoSolar modules left out from Jinko's production facility, 70 gigawatt modules has been deployed in the world. And from the very beginning year, we started to do business with Israel market, and we have 10 years operation in Israel, 40% market share in Israel market by last year. And the most impressively was that in a consecutive 4 years from 2016 to 2020, we ranked as the largest solar module producer and also the most bankable manufacturer in this world as the solar manufacturer. Now, this achievement would not happen if we did not put attention on product innovations and productability. Many third-party organizations affirm the Jinko brand, as the responsible, innovative, and reliable PV manufacturers by awarding us so many honors. We are very proud of that. So now we are entering a new area of clean energy. The challenges that we are facing is how to produce and use solar power in a more efficient way. There are two ways that we are moving forward. The first is a higher PV module, higher efficiency PV modules, which is ultimately our main target. And the second way is the solar storage. So now Jinko is stepping into both of these areas. For solar modules, we are going to introduce more in the next few minutes. For the energy storage system, my colleague, Mr. Chris, will give us more introductions about that after PV module session finished. For the BIPV, we will not spend time talking about this product. After Israel market have concrete demand, we are gonna split a specific time slot to talk about that. So energy storage products, waiting Chris to give his wonderful introductions. For the solar modules, right here we can see that this is our main product bank. Two products category for each market segment. Power range from 400 to 540, bifacial and monofacial. And current days, most of the demand, I think 100% of the shipment that Jinko are shipping to Israel market are those modules that highlighted with the red color. So we can see that in terms of the module preference, Israel market is still loving these big solar modules. Maybe it's because that labor cost in Israel is so high, and by using these big modules, labor cost can be reduced a little bit. So maybe in the near future, if there is some small rooftops, these products will be relevant for Israel market. At least right now, in Hong Kong, Indonesia, in these regions, these smaller modules with length less than 2 meters long is still popular in this market. So next, we're gonna spend a good chunk of time talking about the new technologies that emerged from 2020, and give an outlook about what mainstream products might be in the near future. So let me use this picture to wake up your memory about solar module development history. Take Jinko for example. 2015. Also, this is the first year I joined Jinko. This market was still dominated by the poly modules. And that moment, and that moment, 335 was the highest power in single panel, and the efficiency is just 17.26%. 2016, 2017, the mono products era started. But we also can see that during that period of time, 2015 to 2017, 156 millimeter cells is still the mainstream. So when we are jumped into 2018, Jinko was the first one to launch modules made of 158 millimeters cells. And 2009, we launched our Tiger series modules, which can reach more than 20% of efficiency with power 465. And also, because of this success for Tiger series products, we start the rank as the largest supplier in terms of solar module supplier for Israeli market from this year. So Tiger series was a tremendous success for Jinko to launch to the global market. And 2020, our competitors also launched 166 millimeter cells and the relevant modules. Also, in the same year, Jinko leading the technologies of new technologies about solar modules by launching the 182 millimeter cells modules. So we can see from this trend that it seems that it's unstoppable. Then cells size will grow bigger and bigger because of some economical reasons to build solar power plants. But one of the challenges is that when the solar modules become bigger and when the solar cells become bigger, there are some challenges we need to consider as the designers, as the developers, and also as the EPCs, because it's going to bring some consequences, impact on your RRR and LCOE. Firstly, let's start looking at some very apparent parameters, the size and the weight. Okay, so from here, let us make some reversal calculations based on the size of the containers. So normally, the pancake wing for the solar modules is that to make the short side of solar modules from the right angle, to form a right angle with the ground like this one, like this way. So currently, this is the safest to deliver and packing solar modules into a container. Container's height is 2.6 meters. 2.6 meters. If we need to leave some uploading rooms, and for the forklift, 100 meters, 10 centimeters, and pallet height and box thickness, 10 centimeters, and two pallets in portrait, 2 pallets in a pile. So we can calculate that the modules width cannot surpass 1.2 meters. Once it's surpassed 1.2 meters, either you will have very little room for forklift to unload your solar modules, or you have to compromise the loading quantities in one big container. Now, this is about the size impact, the size, the width of solar modules for the size of solar modules for the packing, for the delivery, and let's look at the weight. Okay, so before reaching limits, the carrying and installation cost is steadily in reduction. We can see from this trend. So from this development history, then people thought as modules grew bigger, the cost for building solar power plants will reduce automatically. But there are some limits. Size and weight for solar modules cannot go without the limitations. Our shoulder, as a mature man, our shoulder is normally between 0.5 to 0.6 meters. Our shoulder, the shoulder width is between this range. Once you want to carry something weight, if it's beyond 2 times longer than your shoulder, you will feel that you will carry this thing unsteadily. So as the module manufacturers, we take this into consideration, and we design the solar modules. We suggest that the solar modules width cannot surpass 1.2 meters. Cannot surpass 1.2. Otherwise, if you take the solar modules, you will feel that modules is unbalanced in your hand. And also by the weight, the maximum carry weight for one man is between 20 to 25 kilograms. When you have 2 people to carry something, you need to add some factors. So the maximum weight for a single object shall not pass 35 kilograms. And for this maximum limitation, we also suggested that these solar modules should be better installed in flat ground. If it's in some unflat ground, like in the mountains, you will feel much more difficult to carry a larger and heavier solar modules. Invisibly, then will increase, then will reduce your installation efficiency. Let's say you use the small solar modules, you can install 1,000 pieces per day. But if you use these big modules, because of the compromise on the installation efficiency, you probably can just install 700 pieces per day. So this is the logic in terms of the size, in terms of the weight. In this table, I take several mainstream products in the market, in the 182 products and 210 products. Jinko module, we have two in terms of the now. Just give a heads up that we all talking about that based on the utility project, because we believe that for utility project it make a lot of sense to use bifacial modules and the big size modules. For the smaller rooftop or others, maybe this big size modules, 600 watts modules will not be relevant. So now we are focusing on the utility project. T company and R company, these two companies are producing 210 cells modules, and Jinko is producing two types of bifacial modules. Both of the types are made by the 182 by 182 cell size. Sorry, this is a mistake, 183. This is 182 by 182 cell size. So Jinko's solar modules bifacial can reach maximum 540, and we assume that the T company and R company can produce 210 solar modules with the power up to 600 or 590. We can evaluate this data in this table. We can see that the VOC is totally different. Jinko modules has a higher VOC, and T company and R company 210 modules have lower VOC. That means in a string for 1,500 watt solar modules in a string, 210 solar modules, 210 solar modules can be installed in one string, and this is the disadvantages that we found in the 182 solar modules. But this is just what we are saying from the appearance. But if we dig more, if we evaluate more data like this, like the current in the normal operation, then we will find the different stories. The disadvantages maybe will become advantages. So we will evaluate the next. First, let's take a full view about this table. Quantity. Okay. Now thickness and the width.
Advance the slide. We're still in the slide of the size and weight.
We are in the, one second, let me reactivate this sharing. Can you see the screen, the table?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Nice. Okay, so here is the information that we collected to compare the mainstream products between 182 and 210. We take Jinko's mainstream bifacial products, 182 products as the example, and also the products produced by T company and R company, which are also both mainstream products for the 210 Alliance manufacturer. So let's evaluate this table. The differences in the VOC, 182 is higher 182 has the higher VOC than the 210 products. With 182 products has a shorter width than the 210 products. Efficiency is almost the same if we are talking about the mainstream power. Jinko's 530, 540, compared with the 590, 595. So it's almost in a same range, almost in a same level. So, and weight, 182 mainstream products is 2 to 3 kilograms lighter than 210. Quantity, the quantity in each 40 HQ container, 182 products in one container could be 50 kilowatts more than 210 products. So now maybe some people have noticed that 182 has the higher voltages, has the higher VOC. The result is that in one string, less quantities will be installed compared with the 210. But we also need to look at the other side. High voltage also means the low current. Okay, so we can think about that. The higher current means that you need to acquire stronger and more safer protections for some equipments like junction box, like fuses, and like DC switches, as well as the home run cables. The home run cables connect the strings, between the strings and the combiner box. Let's make some calculations right there. If the 182 products has 13.9 currents, and the 210 has 18.4 ampere current. So same bifacial uplift, same safety factors. You can see that for the 210, for the project using 210 products, you need to upgrade your series fuse to make sure that these short circuit, these power losses, will these no power generation phenomena will not happen into your project. So this is one thing as the developers and also as the EPCs need to think about. Once solar modules has high current, you need stronger, you need safer protections to protect the other equipments from these high current damages. Also, less kilowatt loading in one containers also means the cost. Maybe most of the manufacturers will sign the purchase agreement with you under the CF terms, but as the developers and as the purchasers, you need to think about to take over your modules from the port to your project site. So more containers means more cost. The other issue is about the tracker mounting system. Let's see the next. Before we jump into this detailed system design comparison between among these mainstream products in the market, let's clarify some concept about the mounting system. We all understand what the fixed mounting system is, and now we call this system as 1P tracker, which means only one piece of modules installed in portrait. Okay, and this supporting bar we call the rail, and this long rail we call torque tube. And 2P tracker, which is also as the indication from a mounting system producer, 2P tracker will be the future in this market. So this is how 2P tracker looks like. The main player in mounting system are the mainly two. These two. Next tracker existing product support maximum 94 meters torque tube. So if you want to install 182 and 210 solar modules respectively by using this Nextracker's longest tracker system, 3 strings for the 182 modules, 2.5 strings for 210 modules. ATI Arctech, the biggest multi manufacturers in China, existed a product supporting maximum 130 meters torque tube. So for 182 modules and 210 solar modules, respectively, each for this 130 meters torque tube tracker, it can install 4 strings and 3 strings, respectively. So after we understand this concept, let's jump into this this table. So now, excuse me. So we can see now. Let me give some foundation basis about this analysis. Firstly, we assume that the project location is in Australia. Maybe Australia is in the south atmosphere, but I think in terms of labor cost, in terms of the climate, it's very close to Israel. The simulation was based on the centralized inverters from Sungrow and 2P tracker systems. Maximum length is 50 to 70 meters long from Arctech. As we just indicated, the 2P system is going to be the future, because I'll give you a little bit introductions during this table analysis. So let's move ahead. Open circuit. So we can see that apparently 182. What's 182 modules compared with the 210 modules. The 210 modules, especially for the 60 cells, 210 modules is higher. So that caused less quantities could be installed in one string. For 182, it's 28 pieces. For 210, it's 34 pieces in one string. So for this project, by the way, we should look at here. This is the project that we simulated the capacity around the 6.3 megawatt utility project. So total strain 470. For the 210 is 300. Strain per tracker. Strain per tracker. 4 strains in a tracker and 3 strains a tracker for 210. 600 watts solar modules. Okay, now let's see something. We will find something interesting. Total capacity per tracker for the 182 modules. If we calculate this as the 100%, then per tracker 210 modules in one string will be 100%. Will be 2.1% more than 182 modules installed per tracker. But if we look at the torque tube length per tracker and the total length of torque tube, you will find out that the advantages and disadvantages will be reversed. So same capacities, 210 modules will use more torque tube than the 182 solar modules. If the 210 solar modules power is less than 600, now we are calculating based on the 600 watts. If it's less than 600 watts, let's say 590, these advantages will be greater. Okay, so This is about the torque tube used in the 6.3 megawatt utility project. Let's look at the other components, which is pile. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, we are going back. The piling quantities. Piling quantities, it's same, no big difference. Real quantities, because of the module for a sim quantities for the sim capacity of the power plants, because of the high power advantages for 210, you will install less quantities in the total in this single project site. So we can see here that in terms of the quantity, in terms of the using real, the quantity of real is 11% less than that by using 182 solar modules. Somebody maybe see this as the advantages, but you may need to also consider then this, the size and the weight. Because 210 solar modules is larger and is also heavier. So you have to use stronger. You have to use stronger and longer rail to support the bigger size and heavier modules to make sure that the wind pressure, the mounting system can resist the same amount of wind pressure as 182 solar modules did. Okay, this is might be the part that EPCs and designers could ignore during the design stage. And also the cable in terms of the quantity. Yes, 210 modules have advantages. We use 32% less than 182 solar modules. But if you put the safety factors into consideration, you have to purchase the home run cables with thicker correction area, with larger correction area. That means the cable need to be longer and thicker. So that also means more cost. Also, labor cost. So once the modules pass 35 kilograms, that means if the installation ground is flat, that's okay. Maybe the difference is not so much. But if the project site is not flat and some ups and downs in the project site, so you will feel that to carry a modules with more than 35 kilograms by 2 people will be very difficult, and maybe you need to use 3 people to install the one single modules. Then will be more, the difficulties will be even more greater when you use 1P tracker system, because you need to put the modules in the torque tube and 2 people to stabilize it and 1 people to use the screen to fix the modules. So maybe the difference in the 2P tracker system will be less, because you just need to put modules in the rail, in the long rail, in the supporting bar, and just slide down, slide up. So that will be easier relatively easier than to use in the 1P tracker system. So here is the vivid illustrations about how you will save by using less trackers in a single project. So according to current tracker system product, using 182 modules, you can install 3 strings, and the total capacity is 6,000 watts higher in one tracker than the 210, than the 600 watts solar modules. So in one single project, that means you will maximize the land. You will maximize the use of land area and increase the power density. Reduce the number of trackers also means then less cost in the mounting system, because mounting system account the second largest cost into the whole project budget. If we are talking about using 2P tracker systems, this gap will be even greater. So these data are based on the real products that the market is using. So if you have some questions, maybe we can leave it for the Q&A. So let me continue next. Next factor is about module reliabilities. As we noticed that 210 modules have high current. So that means high current may be caused more temperatures if the hotspot happened. Shading is something that we cannot avoid for your solar power plants. So shading is also one of the main causes for the hotspot. Once the hotspot happened, that means the power loss from your power loss and performance compromise in your project site. So when you design your project, when you make the calculations, the simulations into the PV system about each different module types, you need to consider you need to put this into your consideration, because high current means high temperature in the hotspot if the shading is unavoidable for your solar power plant. So let's make a summary about these comparisons between 182 and 210. In the last several years, the module development technology, we might have the illusions that the bigger the solar module is, the higher power solar module could be, and the better performance and less cost than my project site by using these large solar modules could be. But there are some parts that the designers and the EPCs might easily focus on and might easily underestimate. What is the part that easily focused on? Like what we normally think about, high power per single panel means less pieces installed in your power plants. That's correct. That's totally correct. Especially less quantities installed in the project site with higher labor cost. It does make sense to use higher power in per single panel. But if you put these into consideration, size and weight, which is related with installation convenience. If it's not convenient, that means the installation efficiency will be less than using smaller modules, and thus the different labor cost will occur. In some occasions, maybe using big solar modules does not make sense financially compared with using smaller and lower power solar modules. Okay, because your installation efficiency will be severely compromised. Next one is the power loss. Power loss means that the high current. If the solar modules, the strings have high current, you need more protections to protect your power plants. More protections also means the cost for the developers and the investor. Mounting system, as we explained, then per tracker, how many strings you can connect, and per tracker, how many kilowatts modules can you install compared with the different module types. Also, the next is the land use, especially for Israel. I think Israel, most of the developers and the investors have limited land areas to install your utility project. So land is like a gold in this in your bank account. So the less land you can use, the less cost you will expense. So according to above analysis, we can know that high power and big size in some occasions might not necessarily have more advantages over smaller and lower power modules. If it's okay, there is a precondition. if it's beyond limits, like beyond the limits that the human being can bear, like the weight of the solar modules and the weight of solar modules. If you have to use man to install solar modules in your power plant. Project design in a single word is systematic engineering. Not only some high managers might just think about using high power, less pieces of solar modules in my power plants, but I think as a professional engineers and designers, you need to, on behalf of your team, think about more on which aspect I need to consider in order to lower down the investment, in order to lower down my invest in my solar power plant. So this is my sessions. This is what I have to say about the PV solar modules. Regarding, I'm sure that some clients, some audiences might have the questions regarding specific slides. So if you have your questions, you either can raise your hand or you can type your questions into the Q&A boxes in this online meeting.
Okay, Jerry, thank you very much, as always. Hi, everybody. My name is Zach Totan. Whoever doesn't know me in this market, I'm the business development manager at JinkoSolar. Basically, Jerry and I manage this market. I've been managing this market for the past 11 years. Jerry has been my colleague and teammate since 2007. And that's it. I want to first take this opportunity to thank you all, because taking the slide of Jinko capability and market share in Israel, it's a little bit about us and more about you guys. All our clients, our unique achievements in the Israeli market is because of you mainly. We have a strong partner in Israel in the past few years, which is Tadiran Solar, which really improved us in terms of the distribution market, small, medium, residential and commercial projects mainly. They're giving us one hell of achievements, and the partnership is great. And we have some very strong partners in the utility segment, and we wish to thank you all. Entering this first time session about ESS. Jinko, as a global market leader in the renewable and PV industry, has been developing for a long time now its movement into the ESS segment. Understanding that there is a major, besides just a major need, there is a major differences between producing models to enter the ESS segment. It's a totally new sector in the PV, in PV, and definitely it needs a lot of evaluation of how to address the market needs. I'm here to first announce the first thing we did is to understand, and I hope everybody can see now, basically before we even sell, and it was clear to us that ESS is a more complex products, design, and of course service must be in a different level. So the first thing we did for the Israeli market is to create a service platform and make sure that we have immediate response to any potential or future issues arising from quality or just problems in local support, because the market still needs to learn about ESS in general. So we are here proud to present our agreement and gold distributor certificate and sole local service provider to Tadiran Solar, our partners here in Israel. We trust Tadiran capabilities and Tadiran's future plans. They will be able to provide us the best local services to all our clients and of course their clients. So hereby I'm forwarding the next to Shachar, Mr. Shachar Krupchik, which is Tadiran Solar Director. Shachar comes from Tadiran Group, and I will leave the next presentation for him.
Now, thank you very much, Tzach, and to all my colleagues from Jinko. I'm very excited to be here. It's the first webinar that we're doing with Jinko together in Israel. For me, it's the first one. So I will tell a few words about Tadiran Group and about our solar activity. And first, I want to thank all the crew in Jinko for having me here and for the cooperation between the two companies. I think that together we can gain some very good achievement in the Israeli market. So Tadiran, for the one that is not familiar with, in the 6 years, it's in Hebrew, but I will do it shortly in English for our colleagues. It's a 60 years company in Israel. We are the main business of Tadiran for the last years is the HVAC system distributor, market leader in Israel, over 40% of market share. And in the beginning of 2021, we cooperate and we acquire 75% of Eliran Solar company that have the former relationship with Jinko. And we are very happy to be here and to get into this type of activity in the solar market. And we think that with the reputation of Eliran and the partnership like Jinko, we can achieve a lot of achievement in this market. So a few words about Tadiran. Tadiran have a factory in the north of Israel. We have in the center of Israel a service complex that it's in our service. Over 100 of technicians, most of them for the HVAC system and etc. We have a very strong logistic places in few places in Israel. The headquarters is sitting here in Petah Tikva, and we have now for the last 5 months 2 new solar sites in Kiryat Gat in the south part of Israel. So what we do in Tadiran Solar, as you all know, and what we'll do in the future. So as you all know, Tadiran is selling the full solution for the solar systems as a structure, an optimizer and inverters, of course, Jinko panels, and a lot of others, other equipment to the solar systems. The new thing that, as Tzach and what we all here for, is the ESS system that we're going to represent Jinko, and we're going to give the service for the ESS. And much more than this, I think that the Israeli market is going to have a lot of achievement in the next years, and we're happy to have such a cooperation with Jinko. And I will let Chris go forward with the ESS systems, and happy to see you all, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Shahar. Okay, let me prepare Chris. Chris is just 1 minute. Chris is just to go to the bathroom. Just 1 minute, he will come back.
So meanwhile, let me say a few words here. Questions. By the end of Chris's session, we will be happy to address some universal, interesting questions. You may write down in the QA box, again, below, you can see a QA box where you can write questions. Specific questions may be answered in the QA box, but universal ones that may intrigue everybody, be interesting to everybody, we might bring out live. So please feel free to participate and write down whatever you feel in the QA box. Again, if there's something that you feel might be interesting to everybody, at the end of Chris's session, you may tap the raise hand and we may address you live. We'll give Chris a few more seconds. Please take a short break. I believe it will be half a minute to 1 minute, and we can continue the session.
Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Chris Dang, and I'm the member of the Global PM of JinkoSolar. It's my honor to present and introduce the Jinko ESS business and the product in here. It's first time I'm attending the webinar for the Israel markets, and I'll take a brief introduction of the JinkoSolar ESS and also some products and application scenarios that we offer for the markets. Okay, I'm kind of, I guess, able to see screen, right?
No.
No yet. Okay, let me share it real quick. How about right now? Okay. 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 So several things that I want to talk about in this chart, but in the conclusion will be like the two parts. First will be I'll introduce I'll give brief introduction of the Israel market, and also second part will be the Jinko ESS product. So how does the market looks like? Like apparently, like in globally, the market has been shifted in several parts. And I would say ESS will be the in Israel. It's pretty new and it's pretty fresh. But according to the report that I have read from the Bloomberg, it says that Israel has the largest pipeline in the EMEA area, which has been announced that the country over 2.4 gigawatt hours of battery. It has the largest pipeline, and also with projects set to come online by 2023, the TUN has offered the project flex revenue for 23 years for the inflation adjusted PPA, and also for the many of the scenario that's of the ESS. For Israel market, it doesn't have like very complicated services or application scenarios because it's pretty new. It's a new market. For instance, like peak shaving arbitrage and additional auxiliary services that hasn't exist in the market. And but from the perspective of the global of the government says the 8 gigawatt hours storage demand will be needed by the 2030s. So there will be mass and lots of opportunities that we can get into. And also due to the explosion previously of the PV industry. So the new PV connection requires being refused in the various regions due to the grid reaching, because they don't have like enough space or enough space for the new connection from the PV side. And also, but another application for the ESS will be give the very smooth frequency regulation to between the battery and the grid. So who are the players? Who are the guys in the markets? From the report, we can see some like big player like EDF and like Dora, Renewable Energy. They took several win of the ESS markets from the largest like 200 megawatt hours, 200 megawatts, all the way up to all the way down to the 21 megawatts. And because of that, you know, we can see from the chart that the Israel electricity generation has been shifted into new, I would say, newer area. You can see there are like massive growth of the PV side from 3.4 all the way up to the 12. And also by the time of 2025, the core phase will be out of the source. And also the storage will take 2.2 of the total electricity capacity. As we all know that, you know, Jinko is doing the PV plus strategy globally, and we do have the energy storage. We do have the BIPV for the building, and in some area like African, we do the PV plus the water pumping, and also you know, they come with 5G generation. That's, you know, in China we have like distributed like a lot PV plus communication, which is for the single tower. So why we're trying to continue this business? Because Jinko do have like very strong branding inflection with the professional and localized services. You know, we can build our relationship with customer continuously into the ESS part. Also, Jinko quality guaranteed has been certified by several industry like IEC, like UOL, especially in Japan, we're doing the JET is one of the toughest certification. And we do have, you know, very good customized and standard solution for the customer. I will mention that part of the residential and the commercial industry and also utility scale in later slides. And the supply chain are really reliable, and of course, the local cost. Everyone care about the money and how we're going to spend the money in the right way and save the money for the customer. First prioritize being considered for the Jinko brand. Okay, so very quick introduction of the product. So how does the product look like? It looks like this. So the residential storage is a small one, and then I would say its smallest one will be like from 1 kilowatt hours to the 50. And the commercial industry is actually looks bigger than the current picture that we have. It's all the way from 50 kilowatt hours all the way up to 1 megawatt hours. Also, I would say 2 megawatt hours, because, you know, some of the rooftops are way beyond the 1.5 megawatt hours. And a utility scale system, it require like a lot of technology, and there will require very detailed design of the container, whether it's 20 feet or 40 feet. The standard product of the residential area that we offer, it's from 3.6 on the AC side and 7.2 of the battery side, and all the way up to 19.2 kilowatt hours. It's very powerful and a very efficient product, and we can offer the on-grid and off-grid switch, which can be used in several different circumstances globally, and it's been IEC certified. So from the right chart, you know, we can easily how does the system works. When the PV or diesel generator generate the electricity, And from the source side, it comes through the PCS. The PCS name, you can imagine as like very similar with the inverter, but it's more professionally called power conversion system. I can transfer from AC to DC and DC to the AC side. And when the electricity being generated from the PV or generator goes to the PCS, will definitely charge the battery, give you the full charge of battery, and make sure it being stored safely. And also from the AC side, you can, through the PCS, you can directly to the backup load, and also from your home load or whether on the national grid. And that's how the system been working. And also when the PV didn't generate the electricity in the daytime, and you can take the energy from the battery side and all the way up to your home load or other uses. So, and also when you're doing the system, you can easily insert or monitoring the data, monitoring this situation from the whether from iPhone, whether from the cloud services. We do have individual a data source and data storage, and for each customer, and they can take their data through the phone or through the system, and which is very easily to use, and it's more convenient for most of people. So you guys may thought like, how does this system be installed? Unfortunately, I cannot play the video right now, right here, but we can send you guys the guided video. It's been posted on the YouTube, and it's very easily to take a look. And we do have very professional technical engineering to teach you and let you know how the system be installed. We're also trying to make the system as simple, as easy as possible to make sure our distributor or our supplier can, just by watching the video, can easily to insert and do the installation. The basic, all the video are the same, and it's just do the, like, open the cabinets and battery connection from PCS to the battery, and we connect each pack of the battery side. So each pack will be 2.6 kilowatt hours, and also from the commercial industry and larger scale of the ESS, the AC coupling is one of the major technologies that we've been offered at the beginning and also right now. So from the chart, you can easily say, okay, does power come from the grid and also diesel generator or other hydro or PV? When it comes through the AC cabinets, and it's being controlled by the EMS system, which is energy management system, and this is goes how does the power goes and how does power serve through the other load, and so all the PV side or the grid side or the BS side will come through the to the AC motherland, and then will be the at the top. So it's energy integration, easy to expand, and wide power supply radius, and it's suitable for the transmission. And this is the AC coupling, and also the DC coupling is more, I would say, is more efficiency. So when the PV generated the energy will go through the DC-DC, and DC-DC will all the way whether discharge or charge to the battery, and battery come through the PCI side will give the services or give the supply for the load. So it's more efficiency and also simple control, high charging efficiency, and it's really but it's suitable for the small one, I would say 500 kilowatt below, and it's more likely for the microgrid scenario. And then this is the product that we offer of the energy storage system. So we do have standard products where likely very less manufacturer or supplier who do the standard product for commercial industry. So as the naming rules, we can tell exactly how the system goes. So the 250 will be the BSS power, and how many battery, how many energy or electricity that we can be stored, it's the 552K, which is battery capacity. And H stands for the hybrid inverter, which means can standard can be connected with the PV side and also do the power conversion from the battery and the PCS. So the standard product I would post, I would say it's really convenience, and also has been containerized products, whether being stored in 10 feet, 20 feet, or 40 feet container. So several data sheet or the parameters that I just a little bit mentioned. For instance, like 80% of 5,000 circles will be the life cycle of the cells. And from the range in 250, we do have product for 276 kilowatt hours and 552 kilowatt hours and 1.1 megawatt hours. And they are also being stored in the container, and it's ready to ship whenever or whatever you need it. So, and also like just mentioned, this system is DC coupled system. It really has some like good key features. For instance, like highly integration and safety reliable. And also with, because Jinko do offers a lot like from the PV perspective, so it support PV DC input and more efficiency and energy saving. And another the biggest keywords is standardization. It's standard, which means we don't need to spend much more time and much more designing for the container. When the customer needed, and they tell us, okay, it's a PV. We have installed PV in the factory, and we need 500 kilowatt hours or 1.1 or 1.2 megawatt hours for the electricity, and we just give them the product. They can do whether installation or inspection on site, and we will give the good support when they do installation. And the reason that I mentioned this part is that it's one of the major, I would say, one of the major important scenario or for the ESS, which is called the peak valley arbitrage. So which means, for the commercial use or utility use, the price of the electricity is quite different. In sometimes you pay a lot of money to buy 1 kilowatts electricity, and also in some of time they're extremely cheaper. And from this picture, you can say, okay, through the midnight all the way to 6 in the morning, everyone goes to bed, everyone is sleeping. So the ESS are able to charge the power from the grid, and also there is no massive needed flow in the grid, and it is more stable. And then the time is more, the money is very, very cheap. And when everyone comes to the work and to the factory, we spend like a lot electricity to do the manufacture. But meanwhile, by that time, we don't want to buy the money, purchase the electricity from the national grid. We can just use the source that we charge from the grid when it comes to the cheaper money. And also when afternoon time is when we can also when there's no needed, we can also just use the power from the grid or power from the PV, which is not much expensive, and also depends on how much electricity will be leaving the tank. We can just give the support, give the charge, whether from the BESS or from the grid. So that's the one of the arbitrage that we do have. And I also just mentioned that in China, this is one of the major business model for the energy storage, that people are able to make money from it, and because the gap between the highest and lowest price are, it's really big, and they do have profit from it, and the IRR goes like 8% or 12%, but it's been changing due to the regulation. So this is the how does the ESS or the Jinko ESS or the PV plus ESS has been given to the customer or to the whoever needed. So from the grid generation, we normally spend, according to the we do the estimation calculation of LCOE compression. So we spend like 7 or 7 cents or 15 cents or even sometimes a quarter of the US dollar from the grid side. And also when you're trying to get your source to do the grid connection, you will spend averagely 2,500, 24/7, 2,475 US dollar to do the grid connection. You spend money, do the testing, do the debugging, and you do whatever needed and connect to the grid. So it's really expensive SS, and which means you spend the extra money to the grid. And also in some other places, I would say maybe like Africa, some countries, they don't have like very matured or successful national grid. So the diesel generator are the main source for them to generate the electricity. So it will be like almost 60 cents or closing to a $1 for the cost to give the electricity. So whether or not just spend more money and also cause the air pollution and then higher OEM cost, and no one can guarantee how does the diesel generator be using under such circumstances. So when the Jinko support the PV plus ESS, and the average cost, I would say, is 13 cents to the 17 cents per kilowatt hours. And then also the PV also, it's, as we know, it's new energy, it's really clean. And with connection of the BESS with DC coupled solution or as a customized solution, we can definitely offer not just clean and cheaper, and also the more stable energy supply control. So that's why we have this main strengths to tell everyone that we're very confident in to give the offer to the clients. Utility scale is more likely high technology, and we'll consider more impact or consider more things when we're doing the system design. Where we're talking about like from the cell perspective, whether it's FP or other type of cells, and also when the cell comes, will be selected, we go through the module, and module comes to the rack comes to the pack, pack comes to the rack, and we take the rack insert to the container, whether it's 10 or 20 or 40. So that's how the system goes, or what's inside of the container. So normally we do offer the product that has been designed and has been doing things for many projects. That is 2.7 megawatt hours will be insert all the racks in the 20 feet container. So like I say, 20 feet container are full placed of the battery, which is there's no space for the people or for the engineer to walk in. So it's very, very full load of the battery. 1.35 capacity are the walk-in batteries container, which means you can have, like, I would say, a very small path that people are able to testing and debugging, and they also doing inspection of the battery. So because in some of the country, due to the fire and due to the safety issues, people are not being required are able to work in the container. So that's how we're going to design for several regions and different regions for the connection. And also we do receive the certification like transportation parts of the UN and the UL, which is the US standard, and the UL 9540A is one of the toughest REC certification globally. So but the system has like very, very long life circles. It's up all the way up to 7,000 circles, and higher charge and discharge rates. AC rates will be very, very high. And if the customer require like 8,000 circles and 9,000 circles, we can absolutely support that, but that will cost extra money, definitely. So another project that we have designed and we have done is the frequency regulation. In some of the places or some of the scenario that it's very, very when the battery charging or discharging or the PV has been given the power from the to the grid, definitely it has some impact. It has some inflection or compact with the grid. So FR or we call auxiliary services will be very, very important. So when placed 20 feet or 40 feet container with the PCS, we can do the trend from like transformer up from middle voltage all the way up to the high voltage from 6 to 35 and to the grid, and we give very, very smooth frequency regulation, and you can give you the good performance of the energy storage and make sure it more stable and more has more control of the logic, and it's more easier. So we do give the support in these circumstances. And a lot of people or a lot clients are asking how does the warranty goes. I would say I took this part separately, and for the residential one, we can tell like directly says, okay, this is part we take like 5 or 10 years guarantee or warranty, which means like 8% DOD of the working status and 70% of the EOL, which means in the next 10 years, when the 10 years comes, I would say, for instance, if you're purchasing a 10 kilowatt hours after 10 years, the battery still remain 70%, which is 7 kilowatt hours end of life in the battery. So you can, from 10 to 7, and but during these circumstances, it's the 1 circle a day, which means you can charge the battery and discharge the battery once a day under circumstances. Otherwise, if you say, okay, I charge 3 times a day, 4 times discharge, and I still want like 70% of the EOL or under the 10 years warranty, that's something is against our warranty, or it's a little bit hard to achieve. And also, if there's under other circumstances of using the batteries or the PCS, we definitely offer 5 to 10 years. And for commercial utility, commercial or utility scales, we normally it's really customized, and we do not guarantee say, hey, we give you like 20 years or 30 years warranty, and without any details. So this is the you guys can see the curve of the cell degradation, which means like in first of years, if you do if we offer like 2 times circle a day, if you doing these applications, you still remain like 93.5 capacity of the total beginning, whether it's 20 or 10 or 100. So after the 15 years, I would say, okay, we give you EOL of the 70 to 15 years. So which means after 15 years, your battery still has the 70% of the beginning, which is, I would say, maybe for instance, like 10 megawatt hours, you still got like 7 megawatt hours after 15 years use. So it really depends on what's your requirements. For instance, if you say, okay, please make sure my system worked like 30 years without with no less than 30 megawatt hours. And according to that, we probably gonna give you like 40 megawatt hours at the beginning, and then also very, very highest quality of the battery side. So it really depends on how you want your system works and what's your budget, how much money you want to spend for each kilowatt hours. So I would say the peak shaving and frequency regulation and then output smoothing are the major advantages for the utility scale. Especially we offer low system cost and higher safety. For many of the news that you've been hearing, like fire stuff and fire problem, it happened in the United States, Arizona, and in China in the April this year, and also just like 1 week ago after Tesla has done fire accidents in the Australia. So that's something that we've been considered. We do have the air conditioner system for the container, so which is offered each cluster has the individuals insulated, fireproofed it, and also the water spare available. And also we in order to guarantee the system works, the long circle life has been always been considered in the bigger or larger scale of the energy storage. So so this is something that we need to consider more and more for the safety and also the efficiency. And this is the product we gonna ship this month, and it's a 40 feet container of the PV plus ESS. In this case, it connects with the PV side and also the diesel generator side. So we put PCS, we put everything, put BMS in the container. You can see in the middle, this is a big air conditioner. So due to some countries, they don't have very stable electricity. So this will very give a good give good support for the markets, whether in daily use or at the night. And the references are in the Nigeria. And also the factory of the Shangrao, as we know, the Jinko has the largest factory in the Shangrao, and we kept like 2 years ago, like we trying to have our first energy storage, which is 1 megawatt hours container. We connect to the PV from the rooftop, and we do the peak shaving arbitrage, and it will save some money and give them the electricity through the battery side. So we currently has been set the goal or planning more energy storage system goes in our factory. We've been considered as 10 or 20 megawatt hours, and probably will be larger and larger in the future. And I'll definitely post it and definitely let you guys know that once we receive that. And yeah, okay, that will be my share of the energy storage side, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope I have made my clear explanation for the ESS. And thank you all.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much.
Hey, Zach.
Very interesting. I think now it might be time for questions, if any. If anybody wants to write something universal here in the wide forum, please feel free. You can also address us personally via emails, etc. Chris is, just so you'll understand from here and on, Chris is basically the global product manager in charge of ESS He is giving our team the full support. For the first projects or inquiries coming from the Israeli market, you can share your inquiries with us and Tadiran. Definitely, we will need to evaluate the product itself facing the parameters per site, and we will have some kind of back and forth with your relevant engineering team in order to define the right composition of products and constellation of whatever needs to be included into the ESS kit. So please feel free. It feels like we're coming back to a little bit to 2008, where Israeli market just started. We are all here waiting to learn also about how the market will guide us all. The actual needs, the actual problems that we may have from regulation side, from the technical aspects. So let's all feel free to discuss. If anybody doesn't have anything to express here in the wide forum, I trust you will do it on the personal level, emails, WhatsApp. Jerry and I, and also Chris, are all available. Of course, Tadiran team also. Hope you enjoyed. Hope we were clear enough, and we appreciate your participation. Thank you. Jerry? Any final words, Jerry?
Yes. Thank you, Carissa. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, everybody, for your almost 1.5 hours time. I think you probably might have a lot of questions about the slides that we just went through for the PV modules and for the ESS product. If you don't feel comfortable or don't feel free to share with us right here in this wide forum, you can email us about your specific questions. After this seminar, after this online meeting finished up, we will send both of the PowerPoint presentation document to all of the attendees. Everyone, we will send these documents to you. You can evaluate it with your technical team. You can evaluate it with your management team. As long as there are questions, you will be so welcome to ask any of us in this team. And we will be very honored to support you to be successful into your solar power development and ESS storage system installation. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, and goodbye to all. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.